Hi everyone, it's your favorite update, Best of Delta. I hope you're all doing great. Well, I want to also thank you to all my viewers. I really appreciate all you're doing. If you've been with me right from the onstart of this channel, thank you very much. Thanks for hanging around. If you're a first timer, this is your first time of joining us in this channel, you're welcome. Alright, so in our previous video, we looked at exercise 19. This week we're going to be looking at exercise 20. All right, so judging from what we have here on our PDF document, I want us to start off this drawing by considering these cycles. We are going to start off our drawing by putting in these cycles. All right, and the dimensions or measurements of these cycles are of radius 27.5 and 45 millimeters respectively. Alright, so without further waste of our time, let's dive into the business of today. So straight to CAD. Alright, so same approach. We're gonna start off by creating layers. So I'll go straight to my layers ribbon. Now click on layers property by left clicking on the mouse. Once you do that, this dialog box comes up. Then you have to right click on the mouse, then you click on new layer. For the first layer, I'm going to be calling it construct layer. This layer is going to be is what we are going to be using for our construction lines. Okay, so and we want the color of this layer to be cyan, so I'll click on this small square box here to choose a color, and the color is going to be cyan, so I'll click on cyan, then click OK. Then proceed to creating another layer called the diamond layer. After typing there, you click enter on the keyboard. Now in the case of the dimension layer, we are going to be using deep blue as the color of our dimension layer. Then next, I feel like we will be needing another layer called should I call it the center, which is what we are going to be using to put in our center lines. Alright, so and the color of this our center layer is going to be white, so I'll click on this white and click OK. Once you're done creating layers, you go ahead and close this dialog box by taking your cursor to this point where my cursor is right now. Then you click left click on the mouse. Having done that, so we want to put in a construction line. So to make the construct layer a current layer, you go to the layers ribbon, then you click on drop down of the layers ribbon, then you click on the the construction layer, which is this. You click on it to make it a current layer. Then straight up, since we are going to be putting in construction lines, so I'll go to the draw ribbon. I'll click on drop down of the draw ribbon. Then I'll click on construction line. Once you've done that, I'm going to zoom in. Then I'll type in 0,0 and press enter on the keyboard to start off our construction line, the origin of our construction line from this origin, which is locking to the UCS icon. So I need a vertical and horizontal construction lines, so I'm going to lock my cursor to the horizontal at 0 degrees to put in the horizontal construction line. I'll lock my cursor to the vertical at 90 degrees to put in the vertical construction line. So let's do that quickly. So we are able to achieve this by having the polar tracking option turned on right at the bottom right of the screen here. This is what we call the polar tracking. All right, you can press F10 on the keyboard to turn it on, or press it again to turn it off. All right, so cursor is locking to the horizontal at 0 degrees because you have the polar tracking turned on. All right, so I'll left click on the mouse to lock that horizontal construction line to the horizontal. Now come to the verticals, left click on the mouse to lock in that vertical construction line. Once you've done that, you press escape key on the keyboard to exit the command. Next up, we don't need this UCS icon here right at the middle of our drawing, so I'm going to click on it by left clicking on the mouse, and I'll right click go straight to to the last option here on this dialog box, UCS icon settings. Then come over here to deselect it. I don't want it to be showing right there because it's going to be disturbing our drawing. So once you've put in the construction line, next up is to go back to our main layer, which is the zero layer. Then we'll go down to where we have the draw ribbon. Then you click on the cycle tool. All right, so for the first cycle, the radius is 27.5. So I'll lock my cursor to the center of this construction line, or the point of intersection of this vertical and horizontal construction line, which will be serving as the center of our cycle. I will left click on the mouse to lock it to that point of intersection. Now type in the radius of this cycle, which is 27.5 in the command line, then press enter on the keyboard. As you can see, that dimension is very small, so we are going to zoom in so that we will see what we're doing. So I will zoom in. All right, I'll zoom in, then I'll pan to centralize our drawing. Zoom in again, then pan. All right, this is too big. Okay, I think this size is okay, so we'll be working with this. All right, so next up we are going to draw in the second cycle, which is of dimension 45 millimeter in radius. So you lock your cursor to that point of transition as well, then you type in the radius 45 millimeters, press enter on the keyboard. All right, having drawn those circles, next up we'll go back to our PDF document to get other dimensions. All right, so start next up we want to draw in all these knots here. All right, all these so I call it a kind of a blade. All right, so protruding out of this inner cycle. Okay, so to put in that, so what do we do? The width of this protrusion is 8 millimeters. 8 millimeters as the width. All right, so to put in this, what do we do? Okay, so to get the center point of these orders are inclined at angles. I believe they're inclined at angle 60 degrees. So we are also going to be getting other construction lines, angular construction lines inclined at angle 60 degrees. Okay, so let's do that. Back to CAD. So straight up to construction lines. Before we do that, let's turn back our make our construction layer the current layer, since we want to put in construction lines. Once you've done that, you go straight to the drawing board, click on draw diamond of drawing board, then you click on construction line where my cursor is right now. Click on it by left clicking on the mouse. Once you've done that, you type in A for angular. Type in the command line to tell CAD you want to put in an angular construction line, and press enter on the keyboard. Then you'll be asked to type in the angle you need. In this case, we need angle 60 degrees. Press enter on the keyboard. So 60 degrees, and press enter on the keyboard. Now that's angle 60 degrees. Then you lock it to this point of intersection, this point. All right, then press escape on the keyboard. Next up, we will need the angular construction line in the reverse direction as well. So following same approach, go to the draw ribbon, click on drop down of the drawing ribbon, then click on construction line. Type in A for angular, then type in the angle. In this case, it's going to be minus 60 degrees because we need it in the opposite direction of the initial angular construction line. So type in minus 60, press enter on the keyboard, lock it to this point of intersection as well. All right, so that's what we need. Next up, now from our PDF document, we'll find out that the width of those protrusions is 8 millimeters, 8 millimeters in size. So all we need to do is to start offsetting. This construction lines you see is right at the middle of those protrusions. So we are going to offset on both ends of this construction lines at a distance of 4 millimeters each, altogether making the 8 millimeters width of those protrusions. Okay, so quickly let's do that. Go to the modify ribbon, then you click on offset. Click on offset. Sorry about that. So click on offset, then you type in the offset distance. In this case is 4 millimeters. So you type info in the command and press enter on the keyboard. Then you go straight and click on the lines you want to offset. Here we want to offset this one on to both sides, the distance of 4 millimeters. I'll click on it, take my cursor to this direction. With this direction I need it, you left click on the mouse, click on this other hand, take it to this direction. Do same to every other construction I've got here in this drawing. Here, do same here, do same here, do same to the horizontal construction line this way. Alright, so once you've done that, you can press escape key on the keyboard to exit the offset command. Then we'll go straight to our main layer, which is the 0 layer. Then we'll come down to draw the click line 2, then come straight up to this point of intersection. Place your cursor there, lock it to that point, take a straight line to this other point of intersection on the circumference of this outer cycle. Press escape key on the keyboard, press the spacebar on the keyboard to re-enter the previous command. Do same on this other hand, take it to this point of intersection. Following the same approach, do same to these other parts of our design. Here, escape key, press spacebar to re-enter previous command. Do same here, escape key, press spacebar, come down to this point, lock it to that point of intersection. Do same here. Alright, so that's it. Do same here. Yeah, same here. Same here. Same here. Alright, so let me turn off this construction line so that you see what we're doing. To do that, come straight to the layers ribbon, click on this drop down menu, then you click here right on this light bulb symbol here to turn off the construction lines. I want you to get a clearer view of what we're doing, so I'll click on it to turn it off. So that's what we have achieved so far. Alright, so moving forward, back to our PDF document to get further dimensions. So next up, want to draw in these points here to both the top and bottom of our drawing. So sorry about that. So to do that, what do we do to get this yes, to get the center point of these cycles here? To get the center point, we've been told right from the center of our cycles here down to this other center of these smaller cycles, the distance between these centers is 60 millimeters. Alright, so which means we need to get this the center point of these smaller cycles. We need to get a larger cycle with a construction line, right, with construction line of radius 60 millimeters. So the point at which this circumference of this larger cycle intercepts with this with the angular construction lines we've produced initially, that point of intersection will be serving as the center of these smaller cycles. So let's do that. So before we do that, let's get the dimension or the measurement of these smaller cycles. The inner cycle, the one inscribed in this yes, the inscribed cycle here, this inscribed smaller cycle is of radius 10 millimeters, while the outer smaller cycle here is 18 millimeter radius. Alright, so let's do that. So back to CAD. Alright, so going back to our construction layer, click on this drop down menu, select the construction layer to make it our current layer, then go straight to the cycle tool right here, go straight to the cycle tool, lock your cursor to this point of intersection where my cursor is right now, then left click on the mouse, type in the dimension of this cycle. In this case is 60 millimeters. I'll type in 60 in the command line, then press enter on the keyboard. So once you've achieved that, now what we are after, this point of intersection right here where my cursor is going to be the center of that smaller cycle. Here another center, over here another center, then down here is another center. All right, so having located the center of these smaller cycles, next up is to draw in the smaller cycles. All right, so let's do that. So from our PDF document, before we do that, let's go back to our main layer. Go to the last one, click on this drop down menu. The zero layer is our main layer, so I'll click on it. Now it becomes our main layer. So next up, we'll come to the cycle tool, click on it, then lock our cursor to this point of intersection. All right, left click on the mouse, type in the radius of this cycle. For the smaller the inscribed smaller cycle is 10 millimeter radius. I'll type in 10 in the command line, then press enter on the keyboard. Press the spacebar to re-enter previous command using same center, radius 18 millimeters. Press enter on the keyboard. Then next up, we'll copy instead of going through the stress of entering these dimensions over and over again, so we'll just copy these cycles, place it on this center points. These points of intersection will be serving as the center of other smaller cycles. So to do that, we'll go to the modifier ribbon. I'll click on the copy tool, click on it, then I'll select the objects I want to copy. So I want to copy these two smaller cycles, so I'll click on them. All right, so once you've done that, once you've selected the objects you want to copy, you press enter on the keyboard. All right, so once you do that, you'll be asked to specify the center or the base point of your copy. In this case is this center of this smaller cycle, so I will left click on it by left clicking on the mouse, then take it to this point of intersection, which will be serving as the center of this other cycle we need at this end. Come to the middle, down here, using this point as center, click on it, come down to this point, this as center, click on it. Once you've done that, then you can press escape key on the keyboard to exit the command. Now as you can see, we've got too many construction lines here, and most of them have served their purpose, so we're going to be getting rid of some. So I will be clicking on them to get them highlighted. Place your cursor on the construction line you want to highlight, then you left click on the mouse, on it, do same here. We don't need this line, it has served its purpose. So I'll click on this, so I press delete on the keyboard. All right, so that is it. So next up, we'll go back to our PDF document. All right, so here from our drawing, we've got a fillet here, and we've got another arc joining these two smaller cycles at the top and bottom of our design. So and the radius of this arc is 17 millimeter radius, and we've also got a fillet here. We've got a fillet here of dimension 5 millimeters. All right, so to put in this arc and this fillet, we'll go back to our CAD environment. Now to put in the fillet right here at this point, joining these smaller cycles to this larger cycle, we'll use a tool called the turn radius kind of cycle tool, turn radius. Once you've done that, you click on this turn radius. Then here we'll locate the tangent point on this smaller cycle here, locate another tangent point on this larger cycle, then we'll type in the radius of our fillet, which is 5 millimeters, and press enter on the keyboard. Do same to the other points here. Click on this tangent radius cycle, locate the tangent point on this smaller cycle, another tangent point on this bigger cycle, type in the radius 5, press enter on the keyboard. Click on this again, come down, locate the tangent point, this way locate the tangent point, type in the radius 5, press enter on the keyboard. Come over here, do same, tangent point here, tangent point there, 5 millimeters. Press enter on the keyboard. Once you've done that, so we'll using that same tan radius kind of cycle tool as well, we'll click on it to put in this arc right here. So we'll click on that. All right, I believe there are other ways of achieving this model. So we are all learning. A wise man once said, to teach is to learn twice. All right, so if you feel there's a better approach to achieving these models, you can as well reach out to me through any of my social media handles, so that I will also learn from you. All right, so so to put in this arc right here, so we'll also using tan reduce kind of cycle tool. Now click on the tangent point here, also click on another point, tangent point here. Then I'll type in the dimension, which is 17 millimeters. Press enter on the keyboard. Come down to this end as well, do same, locate the tangent point here, locate another tangent point here, then type in the radius, which is 17. Press enter on the keyboard. Once you've done that, we will now start getting rid of some of the lines we don't need in this design. So to do that, we'll use a tool called the trim command. You can easily go to the modifier button and click on trim, or you can type in trim from the keyboard. So I'll type in trim, then press enter on the keyboard. So you've done that, you press enter again to select all the objects in the model space. Then you go straight to the lines you don't need, then you click on them. Alright, so in this case we don't need this complete, so all you need there is a fillet. So I'll click on this point, come to this point as well, do same to these other smaller cycles here. Then next up here, we don't need this. Okay, before I do that, let's click on this. We don't need this as well. Do say to the bottom. Before I do that, let's pan a little. Escape. Alright. Okay, so we'll also trim this point here. Trim this point. Sorry, that didn't go well. Let's do that. Trim here. So next up, we don't need this. Before we trim the lines we need, let me go back to PDF document and get. Alright, so okay, so we're gonna trim, we don't need that part. Alright, so back to CAD. Okay, so we don't need this part here. We don't need this, this, and this. Alright. Escape. Now we'll select this, since we could not use the trim command to get rid of these lines, so I will select them by highlighting them. Once you've done that, you press delete on the keyboard. Alright, so move on to the top. Open. Right. Pan. Go straight to the bottom. Type. Click on trim here at the modifier ribbon. Then here we don't need this part. Okay, press enter to select all objects in the model space. So we don't need this part. I'll click on it. This part. This part. Escape. Select these lines, so I could get rid of them, and press delete on the keyboard. Alright, back to our PDF document. Okay, I guess this is looking more like what we've got here in our PDF document. Alright, next up we want to put in a center line. Alright. Now, but before we do that, before putting that center line, the center I'm talking of is this line here. Alright, this line here, we want to put in that center line. So there's something I want to show you right from that point. Alright, so to put in that center line, if you can remember, we've created a layer called the center. Yes, the center layer. But we'll need to make a little change to that center layer. So to do that, we'll go back to layers property. All right, so right here at the last property here, we've got what we call the column for line type. All right, so under this line type, we don't need this kind of line type continuous. So what we need here is the center line. All right, because what we want to use it for is center line, to indicate a center line in our design. So to put in that center line, you come down to this line type, this column line type. Make sure the one that is aligning with our center layer. So we'll click on this line type here. And once you do that, this dialog box, select line type dialog box comes up. Then we'll go straight to load. You click on load by left clicking on the mouse, then scroll down to where we have center. All right, so depending on depending on what you want to achieve, you can choose center 0.5s or center 2s, whichever one you want to work with. So you just click on it, then click OK. Once you've done that, you come down to this part, make sure the center is selected, not the continuous. Center is selected, and then you click OK. Now whatever line you are going to produce with this layer, you're going to be having that center line type, not the continuous. All right, so that's what we wanted to achieve there. So once you've done that, you're okay with the settings, you can go ahead and click close here to close the dialog box. Then we can go ahead, go to the draw ribbon. All right, you go to the draw ribbon, click on the draw ribbon, then lock your cursor to this point. Want to draw in that center line, then take it to this center point, then this to this end here. All right, so that's it. All right, as you can see, we're still in the wrong, so I'll click on this line to get rid of them. That's not what we need. What we need there is a center line. So we'll make our center layer our current layer by going to the last one. You click on this drop down menu, then you select the center layer. And once you've done that, then you come to the drawing board, click the line tool, then you can come ahead here to this point of intersection, left click on the mouse, take it to this center point, then back to this point of intersection, point of here, right here. Okay, now that's what we need. Now as you can see, let me turn off these construction lines. I believe you already know how to do that by now, so I'll click on this. Now what we need, we need more spaces, this line to be more broken, not just this at this point. So to do that, so I'll click on these lines, or you can, all right, you click on this line, I'll type in LT scale, press enter on the keyboard. LT scale, enter on the keyboard. Up the scale is going to be 0.25% on the keyboard. Now that's more like what I need there. All right, so that's what we need there. So this what we have in our PDF document. We've succeeded in achieving that design, in creating the design, or should I say replicating what we have in our PDF document. All right, so having achieved that, we have to put in the dimensions. All right, so we'll put in the dimensions so that whoever that wants to produce this, the machinist or whoever that wants to reproduce this design will know what to do. All right, so we'll go to our diamond layer, click on it, then press escape key to exit that pan tool. Then we'll go straight to the annotation where you click on dimension. All right, so you click on the parts you want to dimension, click on them. All right, okay, as you can see, I'm not okay with this system of dimension. I don't need this line cutting across my design, so I'll go straight to the annotation ribbon, click on this drop down menu. All right, click on jam, then click on dimension style, go to modify tab, click on it, then come straight to test, sorry, fits. Now click on, now whatever changes I'm making is going to be showing here in the preview screen, so I will deselect this because I don't need it. All right, so I'll click okay. Let me still make some little changes to the dimensions test. So let's leave it at 4. All right, test side, then click OK and click close. All right, so I'll get rid of this, and let's do it again. Dimension, click on this, 55, the same here. Diameter, okay, 90. Right here, 8, 20, reduce 18, reduce 5, what else are we missing here? Are we missing any other thing here? I don't think so. Okay, the angles, the angular dimension. Okay, before we do that, I think we need another center here cutting across the center by setting our design into 2. Alright, so I'll go back to center, click line, lock it at this point, then right here. Okay, so that's what I need. Alright, so back to our dimension, come over here, click on dimension. Now check your color at this point. What we need at this point is angular dimension. I'll click on angular dimension. $30. The same here. This point to this point. 30 degrees. Alright, so that's it. So want to have a clearer view of what your design is going to look like on paper, you come straight to the bottom left of your screen. Alright, you click on layout 1. Alright, so these are design right here on paper. Alright, so we can make adjustment to this borderline by clicking on them to highlight it. Then left click here, take your cursor to this point, this node here, then you left click it until it turns red. Then you can drag to whatever extent you want on the paper. Alright, come here, let me pan a little, I need to see. Okay, scale, click on this blue border line, click here, come over to this edge here, click there too. Alright, so that's what we need. So if you're okay with this size of your drawing, you're okay, you can leave it at this. But if you not, you can see click on this space, in the space here to make other changes like zooming out. Come to this panel here on the right, then click on this drop down menu. You can click on whatever option of any of the zoom tools, and click on the zoom rate time, then you make adjustments to this extent. Then once you are okay with the size, you can go ahead and press escape key on the keyboard to exit the zoom tool. Once you're done with that, you can go ahead and put in the title block. All right, so that the machinist or the workman will know who the design is coming from. And you can also put in other important informations on the title block. So don't be lazy, don't be like me. You can do the right thing. Just take your time and put in a nice title block to this design. All right, so that is it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.